StarCraft 2. You don't need to do the castle. It's gritty. It's dangerous. It's Fight Club.
Yes.
All right. So here we have our green Protoss player from the team mouz. In the bottom of the map, Daybreak, it is mouz.MaNa, currently up 3-2 against this guy in the blue. From the team SlayerS, it is SlayerS GanZi.
All right, so Daybreak it is. Great map, and we said we were going to talk all about this map, so let's talk all about this map.
Sure.
Two-player map, as we pointed out, but yet this still lends itself to nice, long macro games, as a matter of fact. Given the fact that there's a really long walk distance between the two bases. Also, if you get to that point where you secure 3 bases, it's not a lot harder to secure bases 4 and 5 on top of that, especially if you're able to establish map control with either Colossi, Siege Tanks, or, you know, just good drop and aggression play around the Zelnaga Towers. So, this is my favorite kind of map, as I'd like to point out, because you have a lot of, you know, 2-base aggression, and then you naturally move up to long macro games. Makes for a very, very exciting brand to play.
Yeah, it's safe enough to do that aggressive macro opening, but also close enough to do some sort of aggressive aggression opening as well. So, and you can also do things like put a barracks in kind of a weird place. Not really proxied, but sort of forward, I guess you could say. It's kind of out on the map somewhere.
Because here's the entrance to Mana's natural, and this distance up here is not all that much closer than the distance from natural to natural if you wanted to put barracks down a little bit farther, but this just tells us that he wants to do something a little bit cheesier, put on some pressure with 2 barracks, maybe a bunker play here.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. This is something we've been seeing in the GSL quite a bit on this map, honestly. 4GG, or I should say OGS Finn, was the first player I can remember to do it in the GSL recently. There's been others since then, but he did that in a game and actually did quite well. It's surprising how Terrans are kind of turning back to this bunker strategy that has been kind of left by the wayside for the last year or so. StarCraft 2 is now starting to pick up steam again, and this, with the wide open way to get into the natural, is a really great way for Terran to punish a Protoss player that's going to do some sort of really early expand. But as you can see here, mouz.MaNa is not doing anything like a Nexus First or you know, a really fast like Forge expand or something like that. Obviously, wouldn't Forge just expand against Terran, but my point is that I don't think this is going to work quite as well as GanZi would hope.
He knows something is up, and his teammate Thorzane has actually been doing this quite a bit, specifically on this map recently. He actually did it twice on this map in the Team Arena Challenge Season 1. And it outright killed some Code A Protoss players.
It can,
yeah, so, I mean, if executed properly, it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, no, GanZi is actually moving all his units back to his main.
Just wants to convince his opponent that that is what's going to happen and completely throw him off.
Yeah, well, I think he might have caught a glimpse of the base of mouz.MaNa as well, and he's like, oh, this isn't going to work this time. I need to just sit back, play a bit more defensive.
And he's throwing a bunker up at the front while floating these 2 barracks back home. There they were. They were initially in the middle of the base, but he floats them back home now. And he will expand in just a second. He's got 400 resources built up. Yeah,
I mean, it's really not bad at all. I mean, either way, if you kind of scare your opponent like this, you get your command center up a little bit sooner than them anyway. So all in all, I mean, he's still going to have a better opening economically than Mana did. You know, he didn't really stop SCV production for any point in that. And stopping Marine production is going to be okay, you know, because Mana's not going for any sort of really, really early push.
And Stalker tracks down a scouting SCV there. We do see Robo coming up for Mana as well. We'll see if he actually expands right off of this. He does have the probe sitting on the low ground. It looks like in anticipation, but something could get changed here in a second. On the other hand, like you said, that command center is about halfway done, so it's going to be well in advance of Mana's expansion.
Yeah, Mana's just going 1-gate Robo just to stay a little bit safer here.
And let's see if he's got that 400 resources now. And there's Nexus. Okay, so 1-gate Robo expands. Just an observer coming out to check out what his opponent has to offer. And he's going to see not too much. Well, actually.
Ooh, really fast medevacs.
That was very select-ish here. We have only 2 racks directly into Starport, reactor at Starport. So very... Oh, whoa, not a reactor at all, actually. Tech Lab Starport. Cool. I'm sorry, take that back a little bit.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. So he may turn this into a build very similar to what he did last time, where he might go into Banshee, then follow that up with Marine Tank as well. yeah, I just kind of assumed that was a reactor on there. I mean, just because if you want to go for really fast medevacs, you can do that and then add your third barracks on a little bit later. But yeah, he's going for something completely different.
And look at this. We're going along the same path for MaNa as well. Early Immortals popping out. There's the Cloaked Banshees now coming out for GanZi, but it's going to be a lot faster with an Observer this go-around.
Yeah, if MaNa keeps producing Immortals, it's going to help him against the tanks later on, but would really, really be good is to have Colossus with range when that push finally comes. That's what really shuts down those tank marine pushes, and everyone's like, well, tanks have longer range than Colossi. Yeah, that's true, but the Marines are going to be out in front of the tanks, so you can still kind of zone things out with the Colossi pretty well in a lot of cases. Plus, Colossi are pretty durable when it comes to taking tank hits, too.
And GanZi has quite a few Marines out there now. Smart positioning, actually. He was running out the top set as the Stalker was running around the bottom just in case he would be able to catch that unit running back to the Xel'Naga Tower. So smart play out of him, but MaNa's on top of this game and runs back home. 2 more gas dropping down right away without any other... Oh, actually, this is another tech lab coming up, so I didn't know if he was eventually going to make a reactor here and then switch these back onto each other, but it looks like it's just going to be continued Banshee production on top of the Siege Tanks will eventually pop up. There we go, Siege Tank number 1.
Yep, I think that'll be a cool decision for GanZi. I'm sure he's probably going to add on a Raven at some point like he did last game. You know, getting those 2 gases at his natural is going to help him build up enough gas to do something like that, but let's see how much damage this Banshee can actually do. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot. Where are the observers for MaNa? There's one. Okay, right there. I was wondering if he had moved the other one across the map. And is he going to get the Banshee? No, not quite.
Yeah.
GanZi thinking maybe I can get that Stalker, but turning around at the last minute.
Smart decision, actually. Doesn't want to waste anything unnecessarily. And MaNa does have 2 observers out, and they were patrolling around for a little while, so the effect of the Banshee is going to be largely mitigated. Again, though, there it is. Same unit composition, you called it, as we have Siege Tanks and Ravens coming out on top of that pretty big Marine force.
Yep, that is correct. Another an engineering bay and a barracks going down, so he's going to try to get some sort of +1 probably with this as well, just to make it extra powerful. And, I mean, if he pushed right now with the amount of, is that just 1 Immortal, or are there 2 out right now?
3.
3, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, with the amount of Immortals MaNa should have right now, he does have enough. An early push from GanZi would be a little bit more difficult to make work. And, wow, he's even going for a Ghost Academy.
And
interesting.
And this Banshee actually popped in, ended up getting not eliminated, but driven off. And you're right. Yeah, Ghost Academy is coming up now, so he'll be able to move into some sort of a cool EMP siege tank push here. With he's actually just going to have an incredible amount of DPS, is what it amounts to.
Yeah, he's just going to
throw down PDD to go ahead and stop the Stalkers, and then make sure that you have out super high DPS Marines. Add on top of that, chaining some EMPs down to eliminate all the shields with the Protoss army, and then the siege tanks just sit behind and clean everything up.
Well, yeah, if you can EMP those Immortals in a fight where you've got to protect your siege tanks, that is going to be absolutely huge for GanZi. I'm a little bit concerned. He's adding a lot of stuff on here, and you know, you get into situations sometimes where you have like a little bit of everything, and that's not quite as strong in a lot of cases, and having a lot of a few things and then a couple other things kind of sprinkled in. But, you know, we'll see what happens. It looks like he's going to want to get aggressive soon, but MaNa's right outside his door already.
Yes, he is, and ready to poke in here in just a second. It looks like the Banshees are coming back, but they're crossing the path of the Observer. Not much... Oh, wow, MaNa actually already turns around. He can warp in a couple units here in a second. Yes, he's going to lose a couple of probes, but he was very quick with his reaction time there.
Yeah. Yep, still going to lose some probes, like you said, and he's going to need to warp in some Stalkers at home to take care of that Banshee as well. That's going to make his push a little bit less strong. Oh, but he's going for it at the natural right now.
Yes, he is. Guardian Shield goes down. Those Immortals are in range of a couple of tanks. One's going to... Well, maybe. This point defense drone has actually proved to be pretty useful for the first round, but MaNa's attack is a lot more powerful this go-around than what we saw last time. If he can get through these tanks, he'll be in a decent spot, but now the SCVs are pulled off of the line and neutralizing the Stalkers pretty effectively. Most of the tanks did actually fall, but MaNa's whole attack force was wiped out.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was a nice timing by mouz.MaNa, and he still has a lot of units here. But the problem, well, it was a nice timing because he hit before the Ghost had EMP, so all of that investment was nothing here.
Oh,
but
he get the Raven. Oh,
he does get it. Yeah, GanZi's pushing him back, but he's losing a ton of mining time. He's probably lost a decent amount of SCVs. He may just be going all in with this, actually.
And it looks like he is moving out now. Has he pulled everything? Well, no. He's still got one mining base sitting back at home. These Stalkers will eventually get neutralized, but you're right. with so many SCVs pulled off the line, so many lost in general, that supply is starting to get a little bit closer for our 2 players. MaNa is certainly going to need some units, though, in a hurry to stop this push.
Well, those Cloak Banshees are going to be a huge issue, too, because even if MaNa kills everything else, if he doesn't have any anti-air, those Banshees are just going to end the game. This push is actually really, really dangerous for mouz.MaNa right now.
Let's see.
Man, not a lot of anti-air in that. Only a couple Stalkers and Sentries.
Here we go. Oh, wow. The Immortal does get EMP thrown down on it, which means Hardened Shields is gone. The Siege Tank starting to exact its damage. Wow, everything dies for MaNa basically at the exact same second. He's down to 54 supply and pulling probes off the line.
Yeah, GanZi's decision to pull a bunch of SCVs and just go for it was the exact right decision in this case. He knew that if he went right then, he could just end the game most likely, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. I don't know if MaNa's going to be able to hold this off. I kind of doubt it will happen.
Yeah, definitely, especially as Mortals are not so good against Marines, to put it lightly. And a few more units warping in for MaNa now. 43 supply to 97, and GanZi is macroing perfectly back at home. There it is.
G.
I just wonder what that was.